Welcome everybody to Wisdom Keys with myself, Brother Francis. Today is January the 20th, 2022. It's a little after 1 p.m. Mountain Time. We'll be on for approximately 30 minutes. I welcome you to be here. If you're on here live with me, just come on in now, and you can also share this out with friends and family members. So today's topic is a very interesting topic that I have for you today. It is called, Are You Dating Yet? Are you dating yet? So hey there, Brother Jamal Smith. Glad you're here. This topic is very interesting, and how it came about. I was back in September. I was being interviewed by Michelle Vidal, the owner of Resonant Essentials. And there was a question in there that she asked me. And that question was, are you dating? So I was doing some meditation today, and it came to my mind that that's a good topic. But I have another way in which to express that. You know, all of us are looking for that partner, that love mate, that partner, or how to bring it about in our lives. And perhaps maybe the most important thing for us to be able to do is partner up with the universe. All right, so here's some tidbits, and there's a special formula I want you to be aware of. Now, this particular formula, before I get into that, you know, many of you might ask, well, what do you do, Brother Francis? I'm a spiritual counselor, all right? I've been a spiritual counselor for some time. I've taught meditation for over 40 years. And I assist people in gaining greater clarity in their life and discovering your life's purpose. Meaning at this time, you know, what are you doing to draw in your life purpose? And our life purpose can change. You know, maybe 10 years ago you were doing something different, and it's a new day now. You know, we got the pandemic, the endemic, all this stuff that they call in the news. But you're seeking where you fall into this greater picture called life, in the life of yourself. So one of the things I'm talking about today is who and what is doing the dating. Okay? Now, I've been doing this work since 1974, metaphysically engaged in it, spiritually engaged in it. This is always an opportunity to share some of my life experiences with you, using myself as a living example. Because I always think, you know, when I'm teaching my classes, whether I'm doing it on the line or like when I do meditation at Resonant Essentials every Saturday, I have an opportunity to share from my own experiences over 40 some odd years. In a couple more years, I'll be doing this 50 years. So it's an opportunity to share the wisdom with you in some kind of way. That's why I call my segment here every Thursday, Wisdom Keys. So when we think about it, how many times have you heard that statement, are you dating yet? And you usually get it from who? Friends and family. If you have a long-term job and you're at work, you know, and you're working amongst a crew of people, they know you for some time, and they know you're single, what do they ask? Are you married? Are you dating? Are you getting out there on the dating scene? What are you doing to, you know, bring that person into your life? Are you looking for your soulmate, your twin flame? You name it, right? And so we know soulmate, twin mate energies is also coming into our life to help us grow in our life. And that's very important. So I have this formula that I want to share with you. And what's the formula? The formula to all of this, to create this reality in our lives, is energy plus perception plus right intention equals unconditional love. Because that's what you're really attracting into your life, is to have more unconditional love in your life. And if you have more of that, and that becomes a part of you, and you begin to vibrate with it at a higher frequency with it, then all things that come under the roof of unconditional love will come into your life. New friends, Maybe certain family members that you couldn't heal a relationship with, all of a sudden that relationship gets healed up. So you see what I'm getting at? It's this opportunity where you're going to make these changes, but you have to be willing to make the change, right? You can't keep doing the same thing. So let me define what energy is, what perception is, right? Because I said energy plus perception plus right intention. So I have to let you know what energy is. Energy is what? Vitality and vigor. It's movement through your body that keeps you healthy. So it's derived from eating the right foods for yourself. You have to find out what that is for you. Not everybody can be gluten-free. Not everybody can be vegetarian. Not everybody can do keto. Not everybody can do paleo. You got to find out what works for you. And there are a lot of books out there. There's a book, I forget the author's name, it's called Eat Right 4, with the number 4, Your Blood Type. And that takes you into the different blood types that eat certain foods that will recorrect the chemistry in your body. So, and then you got to get exercise in. Then you got to get positive thoughts and feelings going with yourself and proper rest. All of that will help you have better energy and have the energy to be able to step out, right? And find what is called love in your life. But before you do that, you got to know what perception is, because we all perceive it a different way. Perceive it means you're coming through your 5 physical senses, and you have certain desires that are coming through there that you use to help you kind of have the experience. So everybody perceives this concept in a different way, right? Your true desire for this would be more like how you want to experience the love. Is it the love of the cosmos, the universe, the greater I am presence inside of you? Is it the love and connection with your higher self, which is a seed of that? So you have to begin to think about all of these things. And as you begin to think about all of these things, hopefully it has a better feeling, a better connection for you. So while you're listening to this, if this starts to make some sense, be sure to like the page here and share it out as quick as you can. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. Because you got your 5 physical senses and you got your desires that help you get in touch with those 5 physical senses. You know, you got smell, you got taste, you got sight, you got hearing, and you got touch. And all of that comes into when you are desiring to have a connection, right? When the right connection is there, as the energy builds up, all of these begin to tingle. But these are not the only ways. You got your gut feeling that pops into this. And when your gut feeling comes into play, that's like your intuitive nature, all of that comes in, then you start perceiving things differently. You can check that just easily. If there's something that you were craving for, something that you crave, like myself, sometimes I crave ice cream. But then I have to think, what will ice cream do to my body? So then I shift that awareness into, well, maybe I'll have some gluten-free yogurt. And I go, yeah. And then I pick something in that area that will give me the feeling of having ice cream. And once I find it, that desire is gone. So then another desire comes in. Maybe I desire to have more peace in my life. So if you're like that, then you do things that create, that give you the ambiance of peace in your life. But you got to remember, we're like a gateway for this. So what's the next thing? We have energy plus perception plus intention. Now that's very important. We have to intend this, right? We got to intend it. And when we intend it, I'm going to say hello here again to Brandon and Susan Solari. You got these smiley faces with the hearts. Thank you for coming in. And Bernadette Jalamilo Leo. Thanks for stopping in today. It's good to see you all here. Now, here's something else. And, ask me some questions, because I'm going to check for your comments. Ask me some questions and let's start to interact. Intention is the next part of the formula. You can overcome limiting beliefs, rid yourself of old thought patterns, and arrive at new behaviors and attitudes. And these attitudes and new behaviors are what? Are positive, and it allows you to create a positive effect in your own life, a positive impact in your life and also for your life, for you. So you have to intend it, though, which means you have to willfully put it out there into the atmosphere. Now, I'm going to have some quotes in here, too, from my two favorite people that I like to quote from. Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith is one of them, and he's the founder of the Agape International Spiritual Center and Universities. Now he was in Culver City, California, and now he's out there in Beverly Hills, California, because he's growing. His population grows big. The other one is the late Reverend Ike. And Reverend Ike got a lot of his things in this department when he switched from being an evangelical minister into thinking more positive, new thoughts. He kind of got his teachings and understanding from the late Neville Goddard. He just changed it in a different way because he had to work with a different community of people. So, in intention, when you put that intention out into the world, things begin to come back to you because you're putting it out there. So it has to go somewhere. It has to come back to you. So that's very, very important, right? You have to willfully release this thought. It's a seed in you. Now, it already exists inside of you. Where would it be inside of you? I always tell everybody we live most of the time through the heart. Not the physical heart, but the heart center or the heart chakra. We living through there, right? We're having this experience. We're planting the seed through there, and we're radiating this energy through the heart. Now, when we do that, then unconditional love can step in. And unconditional love in itself is an intention. Unconditional love in itself is an intention. But this is what it is. I'm going to read it. Unconditional love is infinitely, and this is how I put it, is infinitely the strongest intention as it magnifies you for success. Unconditional love has nothing to do with creating conditional thoughts. Okay? Conditional words, conditional actions, or conditional deeds. You cannot bind someone or something to you. Now think about that. I used to work in, botanicas, as they call it, back east on Long Island. And people would come in, want to get a candle, and they say, I want to get this guy. And they have what they call figurative candles. It just uses as an example. They have figurative candles shaped like a woman, shaped like a man. And they want to get that person, it's got to be red. They want to go against the person, it's got to be black. They would try all these different things. But the bottom line was, the person would never stay around anyway. The person they wanted to get rid of wouldn't stay away long either. So those things don't work. Why? Because there's a condition. There's a string in there that's attaching the person. Just like if you study meditation in different forms, you learn that, okay, I got to be detached from all things that are earthly, all things that are physical. Well, while you're busy detaching from that, you get into attachment. Now it's a never-ending cycle, right? You're detaching from the physical world, but you're attaching yourself just to the concept of detachment. So what do you learn? You never really do it anyway. But if you're on the right frequency with yourself and your frequency is up higher, is getting higher and higher and higher, then what actually happens is that everything is coming to you. You become what we call very magnetic. So whatever you're seeking to have in your life, the one thing that you're seeking, if you do it through unconditional love, all things will come unto you. It's like a scripture, right? All things will come unto you that are vibrating on the same frequency. But that's externally, and it usually takes a little longer. So here are the key elements. This was what Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith had on one of his little story feeds the other day. And it went like this, and it's two of them. You must become the vibration of what you want to have. You must become the vibration of what you want to have. So let's see what you put down in the comments. Has anybody in the comments has a question? Have you ever experienced that? Let's have a little interaction. Have you had the vibration, the right vibration to get what you want? Let me take you back in time when you were a child. You wanted a bicycle, or you wanted some comic books, or you wanted some dolls, or you wanted some candy. And you had to ask your parents for it, right? Well, how did you get the bike? Well, you didn't realize that you would go by the store every day, the bike shop, every day after school, on Saturdays. You were hoping you would get in the car with your mom and dad just to be riding somewhere where you could see some bikes, especially if you wanted that Schwinn bike, right? Or you wanted a 5-speed, 3-speed, or 10-speed bike. But the fact that you kept showing up and you kept looking at the bike, you kept salivating over that bike, eventually what happened? You either got that bike on good grades, or you got that bike because it's your birthday, or coming up, or you got that bike because it was the Christmas season. And you earned it. Why? Because you did everything to create a new frequency around it. And you started to carry the frequency. When you started to carry that frequency, what was happening? You start seeing a bike all the time. I'll give you another example. I have a friend of mine, he now lives in down in Charlotte, North Carolina. When we lived, he lived in Queens on Long Island. I lived in Nassau. So on Fridays I taught at this store, this metaphysical bookshop called the Wise Man's Bookstore for consciousness raising. That's the other part of the title. And he wanted a Jetta. He wanted to get the Volkswagen Jetta. So he took this class with me that was about manifesting your heart's desire, how you set it up. And he started to practice. I didn't even understand that he was practicing it that deep. He would drive and pick me up. We'd go have some pizza while we get closer to the place. Then right next door there was a car dealership. And he'd go over there, give him his license, and he'd test drive the car, a Jetta. Every time we went somewhere in New Jersey, he would pull in to a car dealership, whether it was used cars or brand new cars, and search for the Jetta. He'd find it, he'd drive it. He'd start smelling the leather, getting the feel of the car. He thought about that car so much that we'd be driving down Route 80 on our way to the George Washington Bridge, heading home, and you got to go through the toll, and there would be like 8 or 9 Jettas, some behind us, some to the right, some to the left, all different colors. A Volkswagen Jetta, just like he wanted. And eventually, he was able to get it. That's what he's saying in here. Now here's the other part, because Dr. Michael Beckwith just said you must become the vibration of what you want to have. His other meme that he put out was the context of relationships, because this has to do what I'm talking about today. Are you dating? The context of relationships is in the awareness. The context of relationships is in the awareness that we are here to mature. That means the spirit of us is here. We as a spiritual being, also metaphysical at the same time, That's the mindset, right? We're here to mature and evolve so that God, life, the universe, the presence, the cosmos gets to do what? Express through and work with all of its qualities. So we're, in essence, the gateway for all forms of relationships. So if you're thinking positive, feeling positive, doing positive acts, right? What do they say? Positive acts of kindness, if random acts of kindness. If you're doing those things, turn this paper. If you're doing doing your thing, right? And you're keeping it positive, then all things shall come unto you. They have to come because you're putting the vibration out. But it's coming from inside. It's not actually happening. It says so the divine could what? Express its qualities through you. So if we go after the divine I am presence, which is also known as your higher self, if you have that dance with that, have the grace with that, then anything else that's lower than that is gonna like add up, it's going to accumulate, and it's gonna start showing up. The late Reverend Ike taught, in order to do, be, and have. That's what he said. In order to do what you want to do, be what you want to be, and have what you want to have, he would say, let the feeling get the blessing. He said, you'd have to start to feel it. That goes into your perceptions. Not just touch, not just see, not just smell, taste, and hear. You got to feel it. Remember the late James Brown would say, I got that feeling. You have to have a feeling. You have to feel it. You don't feel it outside. The tingling sensations take place on you, but they also originate through you from inside you. And then the late Reverend Ike would attach this, because he said, let the feeling get the blessing so you could do, be, and have. He says, whatever you place after the words I am, the I am presence, I am that I am. That's what you're going to do. You're going to identify the I am in you with that I am that's in you. Your little I am is going to connect with the large I am, the most infinite part of you. He said, after I am, whatever you say after I am, you shall become. That's unique. Let me say that again. Whatever you place after the words I am, you shall become. So, that goes for everything. You may not be feeling well one day, so don't put too much feeling behind I'm not feeling well. You may not have any money one day, but don't put too much feeling into the fact that you don't have any money. If you're looking for a relationship, what kind of a relationship? There's all kinds of relationships. Which one are you looking for? And sometimes, deep down on the inside, you may not believe that you deserve to have one. So guess what? The subconscious releases that data into your bloodstream, into your thought stream. And what happens? You wind up not getting the person you want to be with, but you get a relationship. But you may not get the relationship that you wanted to actually have. You got a relationship that was lower. Here's another example. I remember reading something, and it was a part of when I used to be the member of Rosicrucians Order long, long ago, back in the 70s. And there was an article, a story, and this guy was talking about how all his life he wanted to have a Mercedes-Benz, but all he had was lemons, bad cars. He never got that Mercedes. So it was like a joke, the way the article was written. So they said the guy transitioned, and he found himself in heaven. And one of the angels met him, and he started showing him around all the possibilities of how things look, how things are made, how things are done. And they walked in this huge mansion, and they walked down this hallway. And there was this room with the door cracked open. And the angel felt the presence of the man wanting to look. He said, yeah, let me show you what's in here. He took him in there. And he began to see all the things. These were all the dreams, all the prayers that people hoped for, asked for, believed in. All the prayers that they stated. It was like a way station, right? Like a warehouse. All of these thoughts. And the guy noticed there was tags on the thoughts, the physical thoughts. And the tag had names. And finally saw his name. And his name was on a Mercedes. Just like he wanted to have. And he looked at the angel and he said, this is my Mercedes. I always wanted this Mercedes and God never gave it to me. He said, not God, you. He said, what do you mean? He said, you never truly believed that you could have a Mercedes. Because every time things happened, looked like they were falling apart, or other opportunities, something was coming up on the horizon for you, so that a series of events, you didn't think that you really deserved to go through that in order to get this Mercedes. So you thought, I don't deserve it. I'll just take the lemon. That's what you got. That was his feeling that he put in. He didn't believe that he could actually have what he was thinking about. So basically, what does all of this really mean? It means you have to become like a magnet, a transformer, a generator. You got to generate the idea, but what's a transformer? You have to transform the way that you think, right? You have to change your attitude. I'll say I for you. I'm going to represent all of you. I have to change my attitude. That's something Reverend Beckwith would say. If you change your attitude, you get at altitude. You go higher if you change your attitude. If you change your attitude and then place it at low vibration and put in gratitude, which you're grateful for, then the attitude changes and the altitude, it gets higher. You get higher and higher and higher to the point where you're free of all limitations, all belief systems. All of that goes out the window. The only thing that stays there, that dwells in you, is what is pure, what is light, what is true. It says right here, generator and gateway of unconditional love. Establish your connection. This is what came to me. Establish a connection with the seed of infinite divine source. That's the garden. If you can get that concept of the infinite divine seed, the garden in the mind, in the sea of your mind, in the soil of your consciousness, if you start linking the two together, then all the seeds, all the thoughts, all the desires of doing, being, and having, and coming in alignment to say, I am that I am. I am that which I'm looking for. I can feel it. I have the vibration for it. What shall happen? It shall become. You shall become it, see? You'll start to radiate it at a higher level. You'll start to begin to get clear. Then you begin to balance, right? Then you transform, which means you change. Then you generate higher energy and you begin to radiate it. We can truly begin to radiate the vibration. And when you do that, it happens on the inside. Many people say it's an inside job. It happens on the inside. What happens on the inside is the remedy. The activation is what? Love yourself unconditionally. See, that's the other part of the title today. The full title really is not just, are you dating? Are you dating yet? That's not just the real title. The whole title is From My Mouth to Your Ear. This is what I was talking about today. When are you going to love yourself? But the other part is love yourself unconditionally. If you spend time, if we can spend time working on ourselves, if I spend time working on myself, the more I work on myself, the more old stuff gets peeled away like a banana peel, like an onion peel, banana peel. The peel, the old stuff goes away, and the new stuff has to come out. When the new stuff has to come out, then you're where you want to be. Why everything starts getting easier and smoother. You notice, hey, your bus showed up on time. You're driving. You got a green light every time. Even better than that, there's not any traffic out. So now you're driving with pure safety in mind. Because you're moving at a higher frequency. You're moving at a completely different height. You're totally aware that something has changed inside yourself. Let me see some of your questions. Anybody got any questions? Let me get my little mousey here rolling. Amber Jajola says, yes, during Reiki 2, I felt it. You felt the love, right? And things come easier, see? Brandon says, yes, I experienced this in teaching and preaching. Prior to I set the intention and visualize the moment, and it always turns out the way I put the intention out. See, so when we put it out, it has to take place. Hey, Tucker Omaria, when we put it out there, it has to change. Your environment changes because your thought process changes, right? The way you perceive things begins to change. It has to change. It's not going to stay the same. It has to change every time. And sometimes you keep going. When I teach like my meditations, either when I do them online or I do them at the center, I always remind people that it's not an overnight situation. When you learn to meditate, you really get deep inside yourself. And you have to experience what we call the ups and the downs. There's the moments when you cry. There's the moments when you laugh. When it's the moments you just feel exhausted and tired. But you keep moving through it. As you move through it, what happens? Things look different. Things change. And when things change, you feel better. All you can do is feel better. You're not going to go backwards. You can only go forwards. Like the late Reverend Ike says, if there's something you want to do, something you want to be, and something you want to have, he said, let the feeling inside, let that get the blessing. Let that come to you. Let that happen for you. Which also means that little thing, that little part of it's called the ego, sometimes may get in the way. And what do you have to do? You got to get the ego out the way. You got to like gently pull the ego, that part of yourself back. That's the part of ourselves that will cause us to think that we know everything. We have to get out of the way because the opportunity is coming. We have to realize that we're the open door. Like in one of my books, the Wisdom of Akhenaten, that was channeled me. And he said the first chapter he gave was silence. The second chapter he gave was the open door. And he basically says, you got to get out the way. Because right after that comes the illusion, the ego. The part of you that's saying that you can't do this. Nah, you can't pass that law test. It's too hard to pass it. You can't do it. You fell short by 3 points the last time. Why do you keep going back there trying to do it? You can't do it. But you got to not listen to the negative chatter. You have to divorce yourself from the negative chatter. We all got to do it. Divorce ourselves from the negative chatter. If I take myself out of this concept of disbelief and not believing, then something is going to happen for me. If I engage myself with the universe at large, if I wed myself to the universe, to become one with the universe, then it has to happen. This is why the ancient people of Kemet, ancient Egyptians, always said, The universe is all mind. All is mental. But they said you got to think like the universe. You got to become you got to become one with it. You become one with it, then all the other hermetic laws take place. Reciprocity is in there, pairs is in there, opposites is in there. All of it starts coming together. Why? Because we kind of got out the way of the letting the ego rule, and we got in the way, in the groove for the divine. That's why it's so necessary. When we could do that, then all things, what, shall come unto you. It'll come to you because you've gotten all the external stuff out the way. You got rid of all the fears, all the doubts, all the illusions, because that's what we had to do. And then you became this conduit for the universe to drop down in you. But guess what? The universe was already sitting inside of you. Not only did it had to come from the outside in, but it was already there, waiting for you to get out the way, so it could what? Rise. So it could come up. So it can meet where? In the heart. That's the bridge. Your higher self and you have to come together. Here's another thing. It's an infinite process, an infinite program. The higher self is in you, and guess what? You're inside the higher self. It's like that phrase, which came first, the chicken or the egg? No, they're inside of each other. It's an unending process. Can't be broken. Nobody can break it. Yeah, they can try hybrid situations, but the real deal is always there. The real truth is always present. But we have to do it without placing conditions on it. When we place conditions on it, then we create a limitation. When we create a limitation, it's not going anywhere. That's when frustration comes in, anger comes in, mood swings come in, moodiness comes in, other people's opinions, your own opinions come in. You don't think you deserve it, so you got low self-esteem, that takes over. We have to allow ourselves to receive it. So what if I was, before I close out, what if I thought that we turned this into a meditation? Can you at this moment feel the presence of yourself being just energy? Not the physical, just energy. Energy that produced this body. Energy that produced the eyes. Everything. Could you just inhale upon that feeling? It's a feeling that you have. Can you allow yourself to experience this feeling? Even take your hands and place them over your heart. Can you allow yourself, give yourself permission to feel what it's like to have this special relationship with the divine that's in you? Because that's the real cause. That's the real expression. That's the real rainbow. That's the real deal. Can you allow yourself to experience that? So now when someone says to you, "Are you dating yet?" you can now think from your mouth to their ear. From their mouth to their ear. That you are going to love yourself unconditionally. Because I left it as a question mark as to when. But the when takes place when you know the how. Take a moment and inhale on that through your heart. Loving yourself more, unconditionally, with no strings attached. That's what that means. Just learn to love yourself more. You deserve everything. You deserve to see it, smell it, taste it, hear it, and touch unconditional love. And it's infinite. Just let it be in you. Let it give you the doing, the being, and the having. Let yourself dance with it, sing with it, sway with it. Let it come up on the inside so it can materialize onto the outside. Just feel it. Unconditional love has always been living on the inside, waiting to be released into the bloodstream, into the mindset, into the thoughts, into the words that you create, into the feelings that you have. Unconditional love is infinite. Just feel it. You know, while you're doing that, I want to let you know that tomorrow is Friday at 12 p.m. Come back here and tune in to Swanda, the metaphysical teachings of Michelle Vidal, the owner of Resonant Essentials. Just feel and connect. Now, for those of you that are living right out here in Albuquerque, you know, tomorrow she's having a social, a potluck social. Hopefully you got on the list. The space was limited. It was from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. tomorrow at Resonant Essentials. Saturday, if you are out here, every Saturday I do my Creative Pathwork meditation series. And I introduce you to the white light ray meditation, the golden yellow ray meditation, the pink light ray meditation, the violet light flame meditation, not like a Saint Germain, completely different, and then the blue flame meditation. But that it's a process, and I take everybody that's in attendance through it, and it's for a great fee for the class. It's 1 hour class, but every Saturday at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time in person for just $10. Hey, y'all, I want you to have a great day, a great rest of your day, a great tomorrow, and even a greater Saturday and Sunday. Do something that will bless you in the way that you need to be blessed. My grace is your grace. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. I'll be back next Thursday at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time with another segment of Wisdom Keys. I'm Brother Francis. Take care and look to see you soon.